leave a like, subscribe, share, and hope that you enjoy the rest of the video.
You can tell that I'm a lame duck because nobody's following instructions.
At risk of delving into a sensitive area, though, I do think there is a difference between oversight and micromanagement.
My conversations with you, the American people, in living rooms and in schools, at farms, on factory floors, at diners, those conversations are what have kept me honest. Those conversations are what have kept me honest. If I had told you 8 years ago that America would reverse a Great Recession, reboot our auto industry.
One of these arch bridges actually has a structure built under it to catch falling deck. See that structure underneath it? They actually built that to catch into the falling concrete so it wouldn't hit traffic underneath it.
And nearly a quarter of all car loans are now of the high-risk subprime variety. In fact, so many are being issued, they recently reached a 10-year high. And if the phrase, a boom in subprime loans, is making your eye twitch with flashbacks to the mortgage crisis, just wait, we will get there.
The Volkswagen executive who was in charge of complying with U.S. emissions regulations has been arrested by the FBI in connection with the company's emissions cheating scandal.
What's frustrating, right? Because it turns out
it's clean
well,
diesel.
Okay, so first of all, it looks like there are rumors that there are early thoughts that apparently BMW is doing the same thing.
This is putting 40 times more sulfur dioxide into the air than is legal.
The EPA has basically said they're going to start spot checking automobiles. So there are going to be federal examinations of automobiles around the United States. Is this going to be like they're going to pull me over and they're going to do exhaust tests on me? You know, and the thing that also has me really pissed off is GM knowingly enacts, you know, basically refuses to acknowledge a problem with ignition switches that's tied to the deaths of 120 people, writes a $900 million check, and walks in a year when they made like $3 billion.
And unleash the longest stretch of job creation in our history.
Unemployment improved a bit last month, but it's still nearly 9%. And the trouble is, job creation is so slow, it will be years before we get back the 7.5 million jobs lost in the Great Recession. American families have been falling out of the middle class in record numbers. The combination of lost jobs and millions of foreclosures means a lot of folks are homeless and hungry for the first time in their lives. One of the consequences of the recession that you don't hear much about is the record number of children descending into poverty. The government considers a family of four to be impoverished if they take in less than $22,000 a year. Based on that standard and government projections of unemployment, it is estimated the poverty rate for kids in this country will soon hit 25%. Those children would be the largest American generation to be raised in hard times since the Great Depression.
America is a better, stronger place than it was when we started.
So real quick, this is a debt clock, and links to be down below for everything. But the first backing I can get within his term is 2008. He got in 2009, so keep that in mind that this is before he went in. There's a timestamp. This is now. We're $19 trillion in debt. And back then we're almost 10 trillion. So he raised it by another 10 instead of lowering the overall debt. Let's let the actual facts speak for themselves.
America is a better, stronger place than it was when we started. In 10 days, the world will witness a hallmark of our democracy. No. The peaceful transfer of power from one freely elected president to the next.
In total defiance of Israel, the incoming president, and even members of his own party, President Obama refused to veto a UN resolution condemning Israeli settlements, allowing it to pass the Security Council resoundingly, a rare abandonment of a long-held U.S. tenet to have Israel's back at the UN.
I have no doubt that our alliance will endure the profound disagreement we have had with the Obama administration, but now I must express my deep disappointment with the speech today of John Kerry. A speech that was almost as unbalanced as the anti-Israel resolution. Secretary Kerry paid lip service to the unremitting campaign of terrorism that has been waged by the Palestinians against the Jewish state for nearly a century. What he did was to spend most of his speech blaming Israel for the lack of peace by passionately condemning a policy of enabling Jews to live in their historic homeland and in their eternal capital, Jerusalem. Hundreds of suicide bombings, thousands, tens of thousands of rockets, millions of Israelis in bomb shelters are not throwaway lines in a speech. They are the realities that the people of Israel had to endure because of mistaken policies. Policies that at the time won the thunderous applause of the world. I don't seek applause. I seek the security and peace and prosperity and the future of the Jewish state. The Jewish people have sought their place under the sun for 3,000 years. And we're not about to be swayed by mistaken policies that have caused great damage. Israelis do not need to be lectured about the importance of peace by foreign leaders. Israel's hand has been extended in peace to its neighbors from day one, from its very first day. We prayed for peace. We've worked for it every day since then. And thousands of Israeli families have made the ultimate sacrifice to defend our country and advance peace. My family has been one of them.
Conway. Kellyanne, thanks for taking the time. Hi, Kate. So first I want to ask you about the breaking news tonight.
Yeah, thank God we're to the end of this piece of shit. So if I still have any real technology professionals left, can any of you told me the Aspucker moment? Can any of you tell me when you were reading this document from the NSA, the CIA, and the FBI, did you see the moment that blew your mind? Did you see the moment when you realized, holy hell, the apocalypse is nigh? Or did you see normal political crap? Again, and this is where it goes in the whole Trump. I am not a supporter of Putin. I am not particularly a supporter of Russia. I would like to de-escalate things. Again, I'm not sure what getting into a war with Russia is going to do for me. Again, it's funny. Everybody talks about, Trump's trying to de-escalate things with Russia. But let's be honest, right? Obama the man, when he had the chance to go mano a mano with Putin, he's the one that backed down, right? He's the one that backed down, took his toys, and went home, right? When Ukraine happened, again, Putin was not some fucking mastermind. Maybe he was a mastermind in a way. But it was Russian troops speaking Russian that simply didn't have Russian insignias, right? If we wanted to go in there and do something about it, we knew who the hell it was. It wasn't, right? Again, like with Syria, like, oh my golly, can you believe what Russia's doing in Syria? After we spent 5 years twiddling our thumbs. I mean, right? And so this is the document, and this is where you go out there and you see so many of these news sites, the CNNs of the world and all that, talking about, oh yeah, this document that the intelligence agencies released, and it is so damning. And I have to tell you, there is nothing damning here. Some email accounts got hacked. Some electoral boards somehow got compromised. But you notice, they kind of gloss over how they got compromised. Again, damn it. How dare you release the name of our secret Santas? But again, that's the thing, is it got compromised, but the exact same point. They say, but the voting process itself was protected. So either one of those is a stupid statement. So either the electoral boards was compromised, including the voting system, which would be significant, or some jackasses had their computers hacked and they happened to work for the election boards or whatever. Like, right. But there's just nothing here. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we're going toe-to-toe with Russia. Every time you turn around as an American, all you hear is Russia, 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 Russia. Putin is an idiot. Again, regime change. And when the United States talks about regime change, you know what I'm saying? That might be enforced with a bomb. And I mean, we have. I mean, you know, we win it. We fucked with Afghanistan. We just screwed with Iraq. You know, we're trying to figure out what the hell to do about Syria. We're in the middle of everything. So when we talk about regime change, I mean, if you're Putin and you have the United States talking day and night about regime change, that's very hard to laugh off. You got to have some balls of steel to laugh that off, because, you know, when we talk about that, that's not like, oh, hee hee ha ha. Like I say, so we talk about regime change. We talk about putting the troops in the NATO countries right on the Russian border. We talk about sanctions. I mean, how many levels of sanctions, layers of sanctions do we have going at this point? And so Russia is pushing back with a propaganda campaign. You know what my honest feeling about that is? Thank God. As an American, we can fuck with Russia this hard, and they push back with a propaganda campaign. Oh, thank you. Right? Because, I mean, it's just not... Oh, but that's a thing. So whenever any of these documents or that kind of stuff come out, you should read it. Because like I say, I've heard the pundits and I've heard all that stuff, and they're trying to make this out to be like some big deal. And again, it's just... The DNC's emails accounts got hacked, and they got dumped. And again, the reason Clinton and the Democratic Party look like crap is because they acted like assholes. Like, and that's what I don't get with so many of these people with the whole Hillary supporting thing. It's just, I mean, yeah. I know she felt entitled to the presidency. Darn it! It is my turn to be crowned. But I did think it was an election. Yeah, like I say, you go through and you take a look.
So we're here to talk about the absolute colossal brass balls on the CIA, with their track history and just reputation is just one of a den of liars. And then they have the nerve to come out and say, hey, you know what you should do? Trust us on this. What did you think of the report, Arch?
I think it was rather pointless because, again, it doesn't prove anything. The most solid evidence they have is a Yara that indicates that something, be it malware or anything, has probably been in the server. There's no indication as to who put it there. Just go like, well, it's got to be Russia, because
yeah.
Fuck it.
And in fact, they never at any point give any evidence for it being Russia. They just state that it's Russia, and it's just presupposed throughout the entire document.
Yeah, like I mentioned, they have a single Yara signature, which as far as I've been able to figure out, essentially just means that there's evidence that there has been some kind of security breach.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I've been able to tell, and bear in mind, like, this is literally just, checking out Google and figuring out what Yara is, etc. There's no way to look at...
Would you like to give people the definition of it? So I don't.
Well, it's basically a tool designed to help identify malware as all kinds. It scans the system and goes like, this is not correct. That's pretty much all it does.
Right.
Like, it can't tell you what it is even. It just goes like, yeah, this is not correct.
They knew that democracy does require a basic sense of solidarity.
So, for those of you who don't know what solidarity means here.
Solidarity.
It means, but just notice which one of the two in the little bits is, would you say is more classified with this. And based on the past weeks and also some of the stuff I've even shown in this video, which one is Obama actually pushing more towards and trying to help out more, even though she quit?
One of the most telling things in this election is how many people each of these candidates are getting out to their rallies. And if you look at Donald Trump, he's packing stadiums and filling up huge venues. And Hillary Clinton came and seemed to fill up a middle school gym or a donut shop. This is one of the funniest ones I've found here. This is Abby D. Phillip from ABC News. They're one of the worst here. ABC News pushing that liberal agenda. Big boisterous crowd here in Omaha for Hillary Clinton and Warren Buffett. And zoom out on the right. Someone posted the actual picture of the gym. It's like a middle school gym. What's that like? That's like 120 people or something. That's pathetic. Hillary Clinton's own supporters aren't even into it. It's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. This is from another Hillary Clinton rally, and as you can see, the crowd is not very big here either. The media loves to deceive. Let's take a look at some of Donald Trump's rallies. Wow, that is something the media will not show you right there, folks. The amount of people that actually come out to Donald Trump's rallies is insane. It's mind-boggling. This guy does up to 3 rallies a day consistently. I mean, he's at least doing 1 or 2 a day most of the time. It's crazy. He's flying around on his jet, doing all these rallies. I don't really know how the guy does it. It's nuts. This is something the media will never show you on TV, and this is sad. Journalism is supposed to be about reporting the facts and being honest.
There have been moments throughout our history that threatened that solidarity. And the beginning of this century has been one of those times.
And another time is the Israel thing that showed. I feel that I don't want to show it again because it's too long.
To begin with, our democracy won't work without a sense that everyone has economic opportunity. And the good news is that today the economy is growing again. Wages, incomes, home values, and retirement accounts are all rising again. Poverty is falling again.
So real quick, I'm going to show you a quick thing on the taxes and whatnot. This is taking a lot longer than I really thought it would to edit and make it everything. But as far as this little section where he's taking credit for incomes going up, the retirement going up, the stock market going up, yada, yada, yada. Well, the thing is if you actually look at Bloomberg and all the financial industries, the economics and stuff, they will purely credit Trump and they will discredit this crap that Obama's putting out. Now, what I'm about to show is something that Trump is going to implement and something that should have already been in well before Obama got in, and there's no excuse why Obama has not even tried to implement this. And keep in mind that Trump's not even in office, and he's already I think actually he's the only president in United States history as of yet, hopefully it will happen in the future, that actually started working before they got in office, saving jobs on a mass scale, bringing jobs in and stuff of this nature. Of course, people are going to be okay with actually spending money and stuff like that, and the overall economics is going to go up. And by the way, before I show this, this was released today.
Let's talk a little bit about how this would work in certain situations. I guess if Walmart imports a shirt from China, Kyle, at $10 and sells it at $15, they would not be able to deduct that $10 cost of goods sold against the $15 of revenue. Have I got that right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's basically how they have set this plan up, that when you purchase a good or a service from overseas, under current law you can deduct that cost, but under this proposal, it's brought into the tax base as and is taxed.
So all other things being the same, my taxable profit there would be $15, not 15 minus 10. If the shirt were made in North Carolina, by North Carolina inputs, North Carolina workers, I would be able to deduct that $10 and pay tax on 5, right?
Yeah, correct. So it's clear that importers are going to have to remit more tax. But going back to one of the big issues here is, as economists expect the dollar to appreciate, this means that the burden of that tax will not actually fall on those importers. It will fall on owners of foreign capital, as was discussed earlier. Yeah, so the border adjustment is actually just one piece of a broader tax reform that the GOP is putting forth. They want to use tax reform to grow the economy, so they've proposed cutting the corporate rate, allowing companies to fully expense their investment. But in order to pay for this proposal, they want to broaden the tax base. As such, they're putting forth this border adjustment, which is going to tax imports, but exclude exports when goods are sold overseas.
The uninsured rate has never, ever been lower. Healthcare costs are rising at the slowest rate in 50 years. And I've said, and I mean it, if anyone can put together a plan that is demonstrably better than the improvements we've made to our healthcare system that covers as many people at less cost, I will publicly support it.
So let's explain how much of this is a lie. So as far as this, if you actually take $0, you have $0 income, put it into the Obamacare. Most of the websites have something where you put the dollar amount that you make, and that will spit out a number on how much you would have to pay, and also what the deductible will be. So what you have to pay before it will pay. So at $0, no effing joke, it is $400 a month. And the fee to not have it is $200. So it's cheaper not to have it, but still you're at $0. You have to get the actual government to waive it. And those personally, by the way. And then the actual deductible is up in the $6,000. Unless if you're going for major surgery, you're never going to cut it. And plus, on top of that, you're still making $0. So how are you going to hit that deductible in the first place?
Because that, after all, is why we serve. Not to score points or take credit, but to make people's lives better.
And then the actual deductible is up in the $6,000. Unless if you're going for major surgery, you're never going to cut it. And plus, on top of that, you're still making $0. So how are you going to hit that deductible in the first place?
Now, I've lived long enough to know that race relations are better than they were 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, no matter what some folks say. You can see it not just in statistics, you see it in the attitudes of young Americans across the political spectrum.
Just gotten into our newsroom here. You can see people on the streets. They're upset. He says they were throwing rocks. He was out there. He was watching this all unfold. And then he said for some reason they turned their attention, said, let's go to the BP. He saw these people run down to the gas station. You see them throwing rocks at the gas station window. Now, we know from police that 3 people are trapped inside. The eyewitness said he also saw the 3 people trapped inside the gas station there. They were trapped in the employee area where there's bulletproof glass. That's where people were throwing the rocks in at. At one point, you see the doorway. You can see the smoke there starting to come. Fire starts in that building. There are 3 people still inside that building when the fire starts. He says they ended up trapped in there until a SWAT team vehicle arrived on the scene. They were then able to escape. And then he said he saw One person actually turned around to try to go back into the building. He thinks maybe an owner or a manager or an employee, maybe to try to get something out of the building. You could actually see him there towards the front of the building. And he says, and then people started to turn their attention to the street. They're knocking out the windows in the bus shelter. They're dancing on top of cars. He says it was total chaos down there. Of course, the other reason that this man even told me that they turned their attention to this BP gas station was a few weeks ago. There was actually some protests around the BP gas station. If you remember, one of the employees fired a gun into the air after a juvenile was alleged to have taken some items or messed with the gas station, and there were some protests talking about the possible discrimination against black people at that gas station, and that went on for a few weeks. He believes that's the reason that the crowd then turned their attention to this gas station, though it seemed like he said they also just turned their attention to a lot of different items in the street there and were just looking to destroy a variety of different things.
But we're not where we need to be. And all of us have more work to do. If every economic issue is framed as a struggle between a hardworking white middle class and an undeserving minority, for white Americans, it means acknowledging that the effects of slavery and Jim Crow didn't suddenly vanish in the 60s. That when minority groups voice discontent, they're not just engaging in reverse racism or practicing political correctness. When they wage peaceful protests, they're not demanding special treatment, but the equal treatment that our founders promised.